in Africa has not been able to put food on our respective tables and bring the development that we all are longing for. Africa is not where it used to be because we say that civilization started in Africa. We had the early schools, universities that existed in West Africa, in Egypt, and a host of others. With all this knowledge, all these years, we have professors all around the continent. We have doctors, we have first degree holders, yet so many Africans cannot put food on table because they are unemployed, because they cannot meet, they cannot be able to pay their bills. What is responsible for this? If you were to go through Cameroon, Central African Republic, Congo, and the rest of others, we have almost the best intellectuals, yet our pace of development is very, very wanting compared to the other continents in the world. What is not working with our education and certificates? We are looking at this with some key experts in the domain. We are having in the studio Mr. Maina Gana. He is the CEO of Develop Africa. He has been participating on this program through Skype from Uganda, but he's here live for the very first time. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Leo. Thank you for having me in your studio today.
You have been enjoying your stay in Cameroon?
Yeah, it's my country at the end of the day. It's a nice country to be. There is nowhere better than home.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
We also are in the company of Professor Krishna. Yes, it's not new to Cameroon. You have been in Cameroon for some time.
Yeah.
You work with St. Louis University in Pomenda. You also have worked in other African countries.
Yes.
Especially in the domain of education. You actually have mastery of what is happening, especially when we talk of technology that is driving the world today. We're glad to have you with us for the first time.
Thank you, Mr. Kum. I'm humbled.
Yes. How are you also enjoying your stay around?
I'm doing fine. I mean, coming back to my home country, enjoying all the food, fufu, jama, kati, echu, ekwam, pile, banan, melek. It's fun being here.
Okay.
Back to the country where I belong to.
Okay. We are looking at certificates and asking why it is the certificates that we acquire have not been able to put food on our respective tables. It is true, there are persons who can actually make a good life out of the certificates they have acquired, but a vast majority today in Africa are unemployed, even with a first degree, master's, PhD. They are unemployed, and if you are unemployed, you cannot take care of yourself and your family. How do we understand this paradox?
Well, when we talk about the degree or the certificate, we need to basically focus on the education. Certificate is complementary. It may come, it may not come. Like if you go to traditional school or traditional university, you study for certain years and then you get a certificate. Certificate is only a testimony that shows that you have fulfilled the minimum requirements. Even if you look at the content of the certificate, even look at the curriculum, they say if you satisfy the minimum requirement of this course, you will be given the certificate. But the minimum requirement is not sufficient to stay in this world. I mean, the education is more about the skills. When we talk about higher education, there are three things. We need to work on the knowledge and the skills and the attitude. So one can have a lot of knowledge, getting all the data, but has no skills and no attitude. Number two, people may even have skills, but they don't have the right attitude to survive in this world. And I think that's where the problem is coming from.
What I get from what your explanation is that there is a requirement by schools, but there is also a requirement by our communities, our society,
Sure.
Which means that you may have a certificate that meets the requirement of the school, but to serve the community, you also need to meet another requirement as demanded by our communities to be able to serve and be gainfully employed.
Indeed, indeed. And that's where, if I say yes, institutions also have responsibilities, and the students also have the responsibility. If I talk about the institution level, many of the students will testify, when you may testify, you went to university to study your journalism. When you went out, how much of your study was really practicable? Very less. It means the curriculum was not developed properly. It did not give you the right skills and attitude that you were supposed to get, and that's where the problem is. Number two, the delivery of the content of the curriculum. We may have professors, while being respectful, many of them are not practitioners.
Yes, sir.
They are just professors because they publish or they have a PhD. PhD means knowing so much about so little. But are you a practitioner of journalism? The people who taught you journalism, how many of them were really the journalists? If a journalist is not teaching journalism, how come they know the challenges in the field? And that's why many countries, including India, recently they are introducing a concept called the professor of practice. Okay. It means you may have just a diploma, but you're going to still go and teach the master students because you have a certain level of skills. And I think that's where we need to move. We need to move towards competence-based learning instead of this outcome-based learning that, okay, we are just checking the tick box that this course is covered, this practical is done. No, we need to go in the field, get our hands dirty, our legs dirty, and then we work. This is how we learn.
Yeah, but we have someone used that example on this program yesterday. He said that we have parents who never had the advanced level certificates. Others did not attain the level of a first degree, and they were able to take care of themselves, got married, and have sent their children to school with the basic level of education they had. And today we find persons who have master's degree, PhDs, and a host of other certificates still looking up to those who did not attain their level of education.
Yeah, but the things, we need to understand one thing. You know, in Africa, we have been lied that at the end of the day, if you have PhD means success. It's not. We can take the example in Cameroon. The majority of the successful people who have done well in entrepreneurship in Cameroon, they don't even have a GC. You know, I know that we can call them all the biggest people who found this country now, the biggest company they have, those Kaji, the Ford, so forth, so all of them. Nobody have masters. But they have PhD people working for them. At the end of the day, you know, the lies we put in our mind that when you go to school, you get a degree and you get a good job, you get a good life. It's not true. At the end of it, it's not true. Not even in Africa, wherever, it can be in America and India, it's not true. The wealthiest people in India, like Ambani, like those Tata, they are not PhD holders. No. The only things they know that from the beginning of their life, they understand that to be an entrepreneur is to be somebody that you are ready to go to practice. Because without practicing, you can't be a journalist, Leo. I can't wake up today because today I graduate from the University of Boy. I can't speak like you. Not true. How many hours? The example I show in this life that whatever you want to be professional, you need to practice at least 10,000 hours. 10,000 hours is almost 9 years. So imagine that you have 10 years of journalism. Me, I don't have even 1 year. How can I be professional like you? It's got the same at school and everywhere. At the end of the day, imagine they say this guy is just graduated from university medical doctor. He cannot go to surgery. But he have the same degree like me. But me, after practice, after 20 years, I'm a professional. I have to teach him what's going on because I went to practice. But in Africa, we put in our mind, but the moment you graduate, you think that you have a better life. And at the end of the day, you know things are not working. Finally, there is a lies behind that we need to sit and to study. Really, that is that those degrees that making life easier for us, or knowing exactly what we want, what is our purpose. Because someone like me, when I left Cameroon, I was having the same ideology. You know, I went to school, whatever. But at the end of the day, I find I don't know nothing. It's just they call it general knowledge. You know that everybody who have general knowledge cannot succeed. You have to have specialized knowledge. If you see someone is a pilot, the only thing he knows in his life is just a piloting. If you see a doctor, he's just a practicing medical doctor for 30 years. All the people who have succeeded in business, how many years practice they have? If you see Ford, so he can tell you that I'm here for the last 50 years. That's why he succeeded. But for us, we said after school, we graduate from university in Akeba or Boya, and you come out with a certificate, and you want to get a job, and you want to dream that you don't have nothing. For me right now in my company, I don't want anybody you come with a certificate. When you come, I sit here and what can you offer me? Simple in my company. Because my company is marketing and training. So you have to show me that you know something. Do you know marketing? Okay, go and convince Media Prime to get me contract. Simple. If you convince them, you are the best. If you don't convince them, you don't have a job. You can't tell me that you went to Harvard University, you did marketing, you have MBA, or it's a story. In life right now, we need to understand exactly what we are, especially of those French countries. You see, we are having more graduated, but there is no job. Why there is no job? Because they don't have skills. Okay. You said it earlier. Right now, if you say you are looking 10 journalists in my Media Prime, it can take you 1 year to get them. But how many graduated we have in Cameroon? You can get 1,000 now, graduated from the University of Boya, right? But do you believe that you can get 10 of them are very good, that you can hire them, you, Leo? It's not possible. Those are the things we need to come back to sit and understand that this is the reality we are facing and we need a solution for it.
Okay, I don't know why the topic is not on the screen. Desmond, what is the problem? People need to follow with the topic as well as contributing. I don't know where your problem is. Professor, now we are talking about acquiring degrees, be they ordinary level certificate, advanced level certificate, first degree, master's degree, PhD. And how do we explain that you are a PhD holder in a country and then you cannot find a solution to your individual problems, not to talk about the problems of the society?
The general problem.
The biggest problem is the mindset of starting the education.
Okay.
It's more about, it has become an opium of degree. Because people are not looking for getting the education. They go to school to get a degree. They don't go there to get an education. So all the year, all they are trying is to somehow score the marks, somehow pass the examinations. The same way, many of them, when they go to do a PhD, they are not going with a question in the mind to solve a problem. They're going there to get a PhD. So they just pick any topic, they copy, paste, they do the random things, and they finish the PhD program. But at the end, what was the whole objective of PhD? To solve a problem. The research or research methodology is simply a systematic way to find answer to a question. But did you even have a question? I speak to many PhD holders and many people who want to do PhD. They would talk to me, they say, Prof, what topic I should do PhD in? So you are looking at the topic, not the research question, where the first point, the beginning, is the research question. What is the problem you want to solve? That's it. But now they say, what is the topic I should pick to do a PhD? Why? Because they want to finish it by hook, by crook. The same way, the problem is also we as an institution, institution of higher education, and we the academicians, we must also take responsibilities. Are we guiding them properly? When we teach them even research, do we really show them a problem around them, around the community? It's useless to be an institution and you can't solve a local problem. The communities around you are suffering and you can't even solve a problem. So we academicians, what are we doing? How many of us have a patent or have done a research which has become useful for the communities? If we have not done that, our students will not be able to do it. So it's a problem where we need to start working at every aspect. We need to work something that we call triple helix. Triple helix, it means the industry, the academics, and the government. Three need to work together. Yes. Now government has already given you approval to run the institution. Now ball is in your court. When you design a curriculum, did you meet the companies that hire? Because who are the real evaluators of a graduate? It's not the professors, it's the employers. The universities can give certificate or degrees or master's, PhD in journalism, but who decides whether someone is a good journalist or not? It's the public, the audience. When they hear, they decide. Then after that, you are the one who can decide whether the person, the technicians, they are up to the level of your expectation or not. But here it's like a cocoon. We academicians sit together, we design a curriculum. No stakeholder consultation. Did you consult the technocrats like you who are really doing the job? Did you consult the employers who are going to employ? Did you consult the alumni who are already in the market facing problem that, oh, I wish I had studied this. Okay, the curriculum, there was X thing taught, but now we practice Y. Did you talk to the current students? Did you do the benchmarking? Did you talk to the ministry and the people who are practicing? It's a whole exercise. It's not a joke. But few people sit together, they design a curriculum. The people who are teaching that curriculum, they never practiced it. They have no global exposure. They are the one who are assessing. So it's very much inbreeding. We are into our comfort zone as academicians, and we are not going out. And we are playing with the future of the students.
Remembering. They just remember things, okay. And you explain.
Good evening, Mr. Liu. The reason why certificate has failed in Cameroon and Africa is because many go through the studies just to pass, but don't care to know the practical part of it all. Secondly, people just go to school to study, but they don't do inquiries to know what pays most in the labor market. Thirdly, the government also has helped to fill the certificates of many because offices are not given to people of merit. Abraham is writing from Cyprus. Good evening to you, Abraham. This one says, good evening, Mr. Liu. I just came in, but I don't know the topic of discussion for today. Prince Bile is writing from Germany. Can we take a break, please? We're coming right back. Watching Prime Hour on my Media Prime. This evening we are looking at certificates and development in Africa, as well as the ability for these certificates to put food on our respective tables. Now, are we not also not being able to use certificates to meet our needs, because most Africans feel that you can only make it through working for a company as a worker? That is, a certificate is only there to help you get a job.
Yeah, Leo, let me get in. You see, when you start to study the design of our colonization system, first of all, our school was meant for the government workers. After our independence, you know, we designed a system at least to train people, at least they can take over the government. But we have not been able to change the system, and the system just collapse like this. Now, there is enough civil servants. We don't need them. But we never change the curriculum to say that at the end of the day, we don't need people in this domain. Is there any way we can change? But in our mind, because our parent has been brainwashed that the only way to succeed in a country is to have a degree and to start working. So, you know, even the next generation was following. Right now, we come out with awareness. We understand that it's not working. We need to sit down at least to find a way that what can we do for now, for the next generation? They don't envy working for the government, even working for a company. First of all, we need to change this general knowledge, because what we are teaching right now is general knowledge. As he's saying, last time you remember I was saying that, how come my teachers in high school, who is my economic teacher, at the end of the day, he end up renting to my house? Mean that something is wrong. He's not teaching me anything. He's teaching me nonsense. So I have to go to outside world to understand the reality. Someone, they tell you he's a lecturer in a university and he's teaching finance, but he's broke. He's renting a house. What can you, and you tell me you are a lecturer in a university, Leo. But if they tell me the owner of this bank, what is his name again? He's going to be my lecturer, I will agree, because he owns a bank. He will tell me this is the way you can build the finance, this is the way you can build the economy for a country. But someone who's in the university, a lecturer, he cannot even, after 10 years, he don't have economic of 1 million CFA. You are teaching me finance for what? I don't understand that. Because as you are saying, the example start by you. If you want to teach people journalism, they have to see the success of your TV media, right? But if you are a failure, what are you teaching them? You are teaching them only what you know. So you only know failure. You are teaching them failure. So that's the situation people are having in Africa. Our teachers, they are not even able. Always I'm challenges. I say, if someone tell me he's a PhD into finance, I say, come and sit down. This is what I do. This is how I develop money. Show me also the proof. What you did. Have you built any microfinance that has been successful? Yeah, you show me the proof on too. But if you don't do it, you are just coming with books. You tell me, you know, those days, the Rothschild family. We are not working with Rothschild family in Africa. We need our system to make it work.
Is that not where the problem is? That is, we are lectured with examples from different continents that may not be aptly applicable in our context.
That's true. That is the situation we are having. Imagine like in Cameroon, mostly maybe 70 to 60% of the education beside the English country. We are copying France. They are teaching you the story of the gold, the economic of France system or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's not working here. And you know, the person I was telling you here in Cameroon, he said it. He said the European system cannot work with us because in Europe right now, if you are working, you are credible, they can give you credit. But here it's not possible because you don't have any guarantee. Tomorrow they can sack you. You don't have any insurance, nothing. So the bank cannot even take a risk. So at the end of the day, we need to bring a system that how can we make even our people, African, credible that we can lift them up. And without helping, nothing is moving. You can't work by yourself. Wherever you are, you know what's going on. You see now the new system in China. You see all the new generation, China and India. The generation who's coming out from the university, they come out with the specific project that bank can bank them. They have a project, bankable project in India. You come out, you present them, you tell them, I have 1, 2, 3, I'm ready to go for it. You give me this amount of money for certain years, and they are succeeding. But we don't have it in Africa. How many Cameroonians today you can call them to bring a bankable project that they can stand for it? How many of them you? If you give them the money, you know after 1 year, they will never be there. This is the situation we are facing, Mr. Leo.
Professor, is this not also a very disturbing? Did we fail to adapt our curriculum to with the type of education that will meet the needs of today? We are talking about an HIA technology age where almost everything today is solved using technology, banking and marketing and everything. Seemingly the curriculum is still tilted towards meeting the civil service needs. Yes,
you're right. And not only that, yes, our curriculums are outdated. But at the same time, as he said that the curriculum earlier, the universities earlier were meant to produce employees. But now in this era, we also need to have the people who can generate employment.
That's the truth.
The problem of unemployment comes from the reliance on employment. You remove this total reliance on employment, this problem will be solved. But I highly doubt that the curricula of different programs have essential modules like entrepreneurship, like financial management, marketing. I mean, yes, if someone is doing MBA, I'm sure those people have, but what about the doctors? What about a surgeon? What about a journalist? What about a lab technician? What about a nurse? If a doctor finishes the school, goes and establishes his own practice, is he not doing business?
He's doing business.
If he's doing business, is he not supposed to do? Whether his services are going to fall under cash cow, are going to fall under star product, he needs to know. He also needs to know about the finances so that he knows how can he take loan,
manage.
How can he read his profit and loss statement, how can he look at his balance sheet. Is he not also supposed to know the marketing, how to market himself? Is he not supposed to know human resource management? Is he not supposed to know the corporate laws? I mean, these are the things very essential. Just like today, if you don't know computer, you are computer illiterate. The same way, if you don't know entrepreneurship and all these related modules, you are illiterate in terms of entrepreneurship. And that's what we are producing. We are producing people who can only do a job. And then the problem comes because there cannot be sufficient job. It's impossible to have. It's just impossible. People who are into job, they also need to move further towards self-employment. But they're also stuck there because they don't know anything else. And that's why the positions can't be vacant.
That's true.
People are trying to get a degree and become an expert, but we don't need the pure experts. Do you really need a cameraman who only knows how to use camera? Or you need someone who knows how to use camera, knows how to do graphic designing, knows how to do a bit of editing, if it's needed, can go on camera and do the... You need polymaths.
That's true.
We are looking for polymaths, but the institutions are producing experts with a piece of paper, curriculum designed by people who are not practicing. People are evaluated, students are evaluated by the people who are not practitioners. They are taught by people who are not practitioners. So what are we doing? That's the biggest problem.
That is the biggest problem. Good evening, Mr. Liu. It's rather unfortunate that most students are only discovering themselves after they have acquired the certificates or degrees. Most of the students lack orientation. How can a PhD in electrical engineering be unable to identify an electrical fault in his house but can lecture all types of theories? We really need a change in our educational system. Nsah is writing at New Bell in Bomenda. Good evening to you. Nsah. Mr. Liu, certificates are not there just for you to have a job, but they're due to mentality and the political systems in Cameroon. Many people believe that having certificates is to have a job, but fail to understand that they have to be creative to be entrepreneurs. Okay, good evening to all of you watching us and contributing. Good evening, Mr. Liu. The panelists are presenting the situation not exactly how it is. The content of our programs are good. The issue is that the training is theoretical. That's where the challenge falls. Peter is writing from Bamenda. Good evening to you, Peter. Now, let's look at the issue of orientation. We have counselors in our schools, but like he says, we only discover ourselves after we've gotten a degree and are wanting and are reflecting on where we can integrate ourselves to be useful to ourselves and the community. After going through school from primary, secondary, university. And then all of these schools have counselors that are there, that are supposed to be orientating students.
Yeah, but for me, what I've understood during my career in life, you cannot give what you don't have.
Okay.
Those failed teachers, again, we come back to them. They can give us only what they have. At the end of the day, how can you orient someone without knowing even his passion? The majority of our African system, you are dictating your children what you want them to be. You never study them where they are very good and you help them to become what they want to be. Sometimes when you study our children, you find them, some of them want to be firefighter from day one. Some of them want to be doctors. Some of them want, but you, because you are dreaming to be into finance and you have not succeeded, you push him to go there. At the end of the day, when he get the degree, he get it for you, but not for himself. After going to life, he find out that this is not his passion. And you know, if you are not passionate about what you are doing, at the end of the day, you will fail. And the majority of our people who are orienting from those high school going to university, what are you orienting me? Because you think that I'm very good on remembering, and you tell me to go and do 1, 2, 3 things. Are you sure that because I remember I'm very good on what are you orienting me? This system has changed on all developed countries. Even in India, he knows that in India now, there is a system from day one when you study your kids. There is a way they test them to see where they're good at, and they push them. If they're good in IT, you push them IT. But imagine someone orient your children. Maybe you want them to be, let's say you want them to go to the army. You start putting in their mind, no, you are going to be gendarme, you are going to be police. At the end of the day, you put that in their mind, and you know, to respect you, they follow it. So they don't want to school because they want to go to the army. But it's not their passion. Maybe your son wants to be a musician, or you want to play football. But you put him to be a military. Do you think that he's succeeding? So the system of our orientation has worked before. They are orienting people because they need those civil servants. They need these employers. They need employment on a different sector. That's why they are pushing. They say, you are very good to go to police. This guy is very good to be a teacher. This one to be very good to doctor, because they need it. But now, who needs? In our country, it's not easy today to employ even 10% of the graduated per year. In Cameroon, it's not possible. 10% of the graduate in Cameroon, the government cannot employ them. There is no job for them because they don't have skill. They don't have specialized skill on the domain they want them to be. As you are saying, someone tell you there is no jobs in Africa or in Cameroon. I said, that's not true. You are not valuable. If you are valuable, there is jobs. There is a jobs. If you have value today, if I have value, my phone will ring. Someone will call me, he needs my service. But if I don't have nothing to offer, I just present you a simple document. I say, I just graduated. So now I am appealing by pity to you to give me a job. That's why you see there is a lot of affinity in Africa. Why? Because someone have to give you a job because he pity you, or he know your father, or he know your friend, or you have to pay for it because you are not valuable. If I am valuable, what do you want me to pay? Why? You need my service. I'm the one dictating you. I remember when we are in the United States, some children, before they finish Harvard, they tell you, I'm going to work in Wall Street. He's so confident to tell you, I'm working in Wall Street. He tell you, I'm working in Bank of, I'm going to go to Bank of America. Before graduation, he go for the interview. Why not here? Because he know that this is what I deserve. How many people you know in Cameroon that before graduation, he tell you, Leo, I'm going to work to this place? It's not possible. So those are the things we need to come back to see, to understand. Even the system of orientation have to change. What are you orienting them? Ask the person, what is your passion? Okay. Me, I went to school, they want me to be a gendarme. All my friends, they are gendarme today, colonel. But at the end of the day, when I went to state, I find out I'm very good in finance. So imagine if I make mistake today, I'm colonel or general. I've wasted my career because it's not something I love. My parents want me to go there. If I did not go to America to stand to find out I'm very good in finance today, I've wasted my career. You can see me general, but the happiness is not there. Those are the things. Thank you, Leo. Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Liu and the panel. I think the main problem is poor orientation. How can the university be giving orientation after admission? And Pascal from Boya. Good evening to you, Pascal. Mr. Liu, good evening to you guys in the studio. Our big problem is our system of education. We need to change our system of education from a theoretical one to a practical one. Majority of our PhD holders are in general knowledge. How can that solve our African problems? A useful curriculum should teach us how to create, make, fabricate, produce, do, act, perform, and design. Do we go to school to acquire skills or certificates? Winka Edwin is writing from Banjul. Good evening to you, Edwin. Good evening, my media prime is Smith from Bamenda. In the educational system in Cameroon has failed because we go to school nowadays to work in the government and balance the money we have spent to buy the entrance to big. So the certificate has little or no value. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm Kizito from Bamenda. Most students these days go to school to study what they are not good in. That is me. They have some friends in the same field or want to get some prestige in that profession, and at the end they graduate knowing nothing about the profession. Okay, now we are talking about a continent that has engineers. We have engineers, we have economists, yet our economy in Africa not too good. Is it that our economists are not made good use of? Are they failing in giving the best advice? Are they failing to actually get involved in our economy? I'm talking about the private sector, because when we talk about an economist who has gone to the level of a PhD, who is a big guy, they're working for the government. Those who are moving the private sector are not these economists. Is that not also where we are failing? Because we have knowledge in domains that we don't put into use. Same for the engineers we have. Most of the things we do, we still hire people from out of the country to do them.
Yes, certainly there are some technical and I would say exposure-related gaps. As you said, that we are taught the case studies of the countries which are not Cameroon. I mean, and those things don't work here. And the problem is that the people who are teaching, they are not analyzing, they are cramming. The majority of the books, how many economics books are written by Cameroonians? Which you can say that, okay.
So those theories may work in the US,
but it can't work here.
It can't work.
That's true.
And by the time something reaches the book, it's already outdated. You see, if something is recent, it's published in the journals, which is published maybe monthly or quarterly. So there you're getting the latest news. But by the time it reaches the books are usually reviewed. One edition is published, next edition comes 5 years later. Now, after 5 years, they are compiling all these researches that took place within these 5 years and put it back. So by the time, if you're reading only the books, it means you're reading the old information.
The old version, yeah.
How many of the people who call themselves experts actually spend time in research? Research means not like the real research to find answer to the questions. I highly doubt. So either their solution is too impractical for the country, or maybe the system of how they make the contribution doesn't work.
Doesn't work. I don't get this.
Okay.
Because I understand that most of our teachers, they have allowances that are given to them by the government, and this is to update themselves, engage in research.
On which domain?
No, in the different domains.
Okay, when I said maybe the system doesn't work, let me give an example. I may be a very good innovator, an engineer, and I make a prototype and I need funding. And when I go to my supervisor, or go to the places or the offices where I may get some funding to do it, either that person is threatened by your speed, or that person doesn't understand, or maybe he needs something that this person doesn't have. So sometimes the system may also be an obstruction. When we talk about paying teacher, I mean, you are paying, yes, you're doing your job, but how well the teachers are doing their job. As you said, are they even able to manage their own finances? And they are talking about the economics. How do they plan their retirement? What about their personal finances?
How can you help a country if you can't help yourself?
Have they been invested somewhere? So until we have a global exposure, it will be like the frogs in the well. They are just looking at each other. They are not looking at what's happening outside or beyond the nation. And now, even for employment or business or anything, if we look just inside a country, we can never make money. No one.
That's true.
So we need to go beyond the borders. Like your show is being watched across the globe. Am I right? Yes. So certainly you are getting more insights from different people across the globe who have better exposure. Why can't it happen in education system? Why can't we bring the professionals like you to come and teach journalism? I understand you'll never have enough time to go and prepare the modules and teach in the classroom, but you need to become the professor of practice. So the teachers or the professors or the lecturers, they take care of the theoretical part and they wait for your guest lecture. You go in there maybe once a week, you give them your experience, your challenges, the way you see where the industry is moving in 5 years. And then everything, all the discussion happens around that. When how many universities have called you before they review their curriculum? I don't think many universities call journalists when they review their curriculum. But how can a lecturer who did maybe PhD in journalism and is not even a journalist can foresee what technology is going to come within 5 years? Where is the industry going to move in next 5 years? How can you make money using YouTube or social media and monetize and do other things? I mean, it's more about getting the right people to teach the right things.
Teach the right things. Good evening, Mr. Leo and the entire crew in the studio. Earlier, Cameroon and Africa as a whole start to value skills set the better for us all. Theory is something quite different from practicals. Do it well rather than just explaining action. I'm going Lovelyn writing from Kribi. Good evening to you, Lovelyn. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Our educational system produces 3 categories of persons: untrained job seekers, containers of useless knowledge, and idiots with college degrees. If we don't go in for specialized knowledge to get specialized training, we are not going anywhere. Now, I want us to look at certificates and talents. Do we actually, as a nation, as a continent, value the place of talents, and also let our young people know that talents, the talents you have, personal talent, individual talent, can take care of you and your family far greater than any job opportunity? Take the case of Samuel Eto'o. It is football that has placed him where he is. We have great musicians. We have so many of them who are taking America. Take the Serena, Serena and Venus. Look at where they are. So why don't we also start placing greater value on cultivating, molding, building, and selling individual talents?
We need to stand the talent campaigns. At the end of the day, let us not put everything on the government. Because government is we, it's me and you and him. That's the government. We are thinking government is people who have those positions. At the end of the day, if we decide right now to value our talents and to show the younger generation that if you are talented, you can gain more than the PhD holder, he will start taking it his value. Because right now, we are seeing those PhD holders, they are more valuable than the talented one. So we need to reverse now the equation to explain the younger generation that you don't need necessarily to have PhD to succeed in life. If you have your talent and you develop it well, you can succeed. As you said, Samuel Eto'o has proved us today. His talent as one of the best football players, take him wherever he wanted in his life. There is no any Cameroonian PhD who has been there. So at the end of the day, we know that. So why not we start, this generation, to show our children that if you are talented, I will support you. I don't want you to force yourself to do what you don't like. If your son now want to play football, tell you how many times you can assist him in the school that you sit, like some people doing that you are watching him playing. That you can go with the mother, you take your time. Let's say you want to play to Yaoundé, you drive with your car, to go and wait to show him that he is talented and you are behind him. We need to give them this support, because in Africa, the support is not there. We have a lot of talented football players, musicians today, a lot of talent in art, everything, but the situation, we as a parent, we are not even encouraging them. We are showing them, this useless thing, leave it, this, or go and sing on the street, it's better you go to school. But sometimes you see, when you start singing on the street, you can be a very good singer. But why do we as a parent, we cannot give now this ability? You say that if you are talented, I will follow you. May I have my son now, he's playing in Qatar, he tell me he don't want school. I say, I back you up. He said, no, I don't like this thing, going to school every day. Me, I want to play football. I say, I help you. This is what he loves. At the end of the day, if someone loves something, his passion, he will never fail you. But if you push him, he will get this degree, but at the end of the day, he cannot be successful. He's expecting him to go and help him again, to get a job from the government. Those are the things. There is a situation now happening in Burkina Faso. There is someone who's created a school, but he called this school the Successful Entrepreneurs. So the teachers, the lecturer from university challenge him, they invite him. He tell them just the 2 things. We are not here to discuss. You are here for the last 60 years since independence, you are training people, right? I'm giving you 10 young boys. I take 10 young boys, I trace them. After 5 years, we come back and we compare them. Simple. I don't want you. I say, my problem, I don't worry about your PhD. But at the end of the day, after 5 years, when they come, those guys are the real entrepreneurs. They have created jobs. Each of them can create at least 20 jobs. But those are guys, they don't have nothing. He said, it's simple. For me, I don't want to give anybody a certificate. Your certificate is you. What can you do in this life? He said that the government refused to give him certificate. I said, we don't need it. I want these people to be successful. If they can take care of their family, they are successful, they can create jobs, don't give them certificate. But at the end of the day, you will listen to them. So we need to start encouraging the young generation that be an entrepreneur, create something that your country can benefit from. Yeah?
And also follow the passion, as you said, because all this is coming back again to the orientation. And the current orientation system is more like, blind leading the blinds.
That's true.
Because you don't know where you are going, and you are leading, you are guiding other people to, like, you found your passion when you went to the US and you explored yourself
Almost after 30 years.
so you found your passion after getting exposed to that field.
Yeah.
But when we do the orientation program, do we expose people?
No.
Or we just stand and talk, you do this and you'll reach in this field, this what you can? No. And it begins from the parents. Every parent has brothers or friends or extended family members. Someone is an engineer, someone is singer, someone is doctor. When they take their kids to them, do they initiate such discussion? Do they request them, okay, guide my son, what can he do? Try to find if he loves football. Try to find if he loves singing. Try to find if he loves finances.
Yeah, finances. So he wants.
Once it's done, then the next step is in the schools. The schools need to get the guest lecturers who can come and orient. It's not the teachers who can orient them properly. When you come, you can show them the real picture. For orientation into engineering, an engineer needs to come who is successful, so that people look up to them. Now you see, like you said, nowadays you don't even look at the degrees before you employ.
No,
the same for Google.
I don't need
the same for Microsoft. They are not looking for degrees. As long as you can do the work, you do it.
Good to go.
Well, recently, one movie released in India. It's called KGF 2.
Mm-hmm.
And the movie was edited by a 19-year-old kid who used to make Instagram reels. And his editing skills were so, he is not qualified, he has no experience, but the way he edited the Instagram reels, this movie, now the one he has edited, is the 4th highest earning movies in the history of Indian cinema.
Can you imagine?
But this guy got the skills. And he means this kid identified the passion, followed it up, and then went and became successful. Before someone enters in the university, the person should have already identified the passion. You go to universities are like buffet. When you go to eat food, you already know you want to eat achu, or you want to eat goat meat.
Chicken,
Whatever you want to, you want spicy food, light food, you want continental. You go with your mind already made up. You just don't go and start trying everything. Come back, I didn't like it. I went, I'm not even filled, I'm getting gastric ulcer. No, you know your strength. Can you digest spicy food? Yes? No. If yes, go towards Indian, Indian food, eat it, enjoy, and come back. So universities like buffet, the lecturers and the teachers are like the chef. But here we are just going in there to get a degree, coming out. That's not how it works. Yeah.
Mr. Liu, all panelists are operating some businesses in Cameroon. If yes, they may readily help. Do the panelists know that organizations do not accept students on professional and academic internships? How do we want to have good graduates when business institutions refuse taking students as interns? Is sad reality, Mr. Liu. Peter is writing from Bomenda. I don't know which institution. While I was in first year in the University of Boya, I did internship in Bomenda. My second year, I still did another internship in Bomenda. And where I am, every year we receive students on internship, professional or educational. We receive them. So just knock the right doors. Mr. Liu, the African economy can't advance because we don't have a development model. We are still using the Western development model, which is not applicable in the African context, from Mr. Francis, writing from Limbe. Secondly, the Cameroon educational system is based on theoretical rather than practical approach, where critical thinking is absent. More so, we need career development experts and not counselors. Okay?
Now he's talking.
Greetings, Mr. Liu. It is true, as you said, that the government is providing some grants to professors to do some research, but the problem is the government may be picking and choosing what kinds of projects they want to sponsor. To overcome this problem, you need a system that can allow those professionals to get research grants from NGOs, foundations, and other independent bodies outside of the government, just like in the United States. It is a structural problem. Dr. Wesley Angoni is writing from the US. Good evening to you, Doctor. Always watching and contributing. Good evening to you all in the studio. Most persons go to school not to acquire skills, but to acquire certificates, which becomes a problem when they are faced with real-life situations. which requires skills, forgetting to know that in this competitive era, you need skills in order for you to be prosperous. Certificate is paper. Writing to you in, okay, Dem Terrace. It's writing from Boya. Good evening to you, Dem Terrace. Good evening, Mr. Liu. We need to come up with ideas that can create jobs in our country, not just only certificates. Emmanuel Ngeme writing there. Good evening, Mr. Liu and panelists. The simple reason of the low development in Cameroon, despite the degrees, is bad governance and too much general education. That is poor curriculum. Ferdinand is writing from Yaoundé. Good evening, sir. It's Nde Bruno from Boya. I think the problem is a miseducation of Africa and Cameroon in particular. This is because we are taught theories rather than the practice. It's high time we need to start facing the practical part of education. Someone talked about getting development, career development coaches than counselors. Is that where we need to start? That is, if you have to bring somebody to give orientation to students, it should be somebody who has a good mastery of the different career parts in our economy. For example, we have our guidance counselors who are there just to tell students that read this, read this, read this. But from what I get, what he's saying is, okay, we need persons who can readily analyze where the market is going towards, where demands are going to be coming from the sectors that are going to be placing demands in our respective communities, and bring these persons to be working with the children as they grow.
But make no mistake about it, Leo, anybody who is a career development counselor who's know exactly what to do will never work for the government.
Okay.
Why? Because first of all, they are doing well. Anybody who do well will never go work for the government. I'm taking you on the career of finance, that's what I know. I don't know about journalism. When we see successful people in finance, when we call about like Paul Fokam, because he's successful, he built a bank and he can prove you from A to Z how to build an economy and to make it successful. He will never go on in the university. He can do it, benevolent to help people, to make sure that he guide you. He can be your godfather to guide you, but he can't go there. You have to understand the person, any human being who get to this level mean that he is doing well, he know exactly what he wants. So at the end of the day, is the relation between the government and those institutions now to bring the system to say that now our system is not working. I need you to bring your expertise to see how you can orient some of the younger generation to take after you. But they will never be as a counselor at the university or any institution because they are doing well. Because someone will tell you what to do after when you know how to do it. If you want to train a journalist today, because you know everything from editing, from camera, from everything you know, that's how you tell the person, do that. After when you do that, go and read this book, do this, do this, do this, do this. At the end of the day, you know what to do. So we need to come back first to agree with the government. We said all the areas now that are not working, who are the experts that we can call them on the table? As let us take the example. You see, always they are talking about the Rwanda model. The Rwanda model, their government and the leaders sit down to find out that what is the model that can work for us. It's not about, let us not see the West, our system here, what is needed. They say that he studied in America, he's one of the well-respected medical doctor, he have 30 years experience. They call him, they say, why you cannot train a young guys who's coming from medical school? He trained them. I come one of maybe one of the successful banker. I start building economic system. You come from the journalists, you train. At the end of the day, we have an army who is follow us that are able to take over. But do we have it here in Cameroon? How many, professionals that the government, they can call them to tell them, we need to develop this economy to this level for the next 5 years. What is your advice? You who run the banks, what is your advice? You are professional on transport. What is my advice? Who am professional on industrialization? We don't have that. They are here, they are there, and those people have a max. All the people who have succeeded, who have factories now in Cameroon, we can ask their advice. But we don't do that. So at the end of the day, as you are saying, it's not possible to get that. The possibility is only when the government step in now to call these people to say, we need your help to change the system. Our system of education that need your help. If today I need to learn finance, I know who to go to. If you tell me now to go to any university in Cameroon, I say you're wasting my time. Me. Because I'm not going to learn anything. Yeah.
You certainly are going to learn something, but
no.
you may not, yeah, okay.
No.
Okay, you mean? I'm
not going to learn anything, because if you want to be my lecturer in finance today, you need to show me your career. How are you be able to build a system finance that you can sustain you have invested something with proof first. You will tell me, Mr. Gana, when I started to teaching, this is my salary, this is how much I was earning, this is how much I'm investing. And to this level, this is the kind of asset has been able to build that it can sustain my lifestyle even I'm not working. How many of them we know in Cameroon? But you are going to teach me theory. You tell me, no, Pythagore or those system in France, you know, the Société Générale, the former. No, I don't want that. You need to give me practical that this is where I was, this is how I done it, and this is the way I can continue for the next 20 years. But you can tell me just a theory. Yeah, go ahead, Leo.
Okay. Okay. From what I gather, there is need for a redefinition of the curriculum.
Indeed.
Okay.
Indeed. I mean, curriculum review and proper curriculum review is much needed thing. And it's a very simple thing to do, actually, if we just do the things right. All you need to do is to start with the stakeholder consultations. For example, if I have to design a curriculum of, let's say, media and journalism, I'll simply come to Mr. Leo. I'll go to a few of his friends who are doing well like him, and I'll ask, okay, I want to run a course on journalism. What kind of staff do you want after 3 years?
Okay.
They'll say, okay, you see, Prof, I need someone who knows editing. Okay, check more. I want someone who knows how to use this software. You see, Professor, after 3 years, this new technology is going to come. So I need someone who has already learned this. I mean, by the time someone is finishing the course, these are the list of attitudes I want in the people. I'm working here till 9 o'clock. I want people who are flexible. I want people, who are ready to go beyond the limit and do the things. I want to deal with the people who are flexible, who have the leadership skills. I mean, you will give me all the attributes in terms of knowledge, skills, and attitude. Then I'll go back with all those attributes you require. I'll get a team of technocrats. Then I'll ask them, okay, Mr. Leo wants people to do this. What are the things you need to learn before you can become what he wants someone to be? The technocrats will tell me, okay, these are the things, if the students learn, fine. Then I'll go to the academicians. At the end, then they will tell me, okay, this is the right way to teach. This is the methodology you need to take in order to implement all these things you have done. Then I'll consult with the ministry, I'll consult with the association, I'll consult with the alumni, I'll consult with the students, I'll contact some international organizations that are already doing well. I'll have a complete idea. It's more like a product. A student is investing. For a student must get return of investment. So I must create a product that sells. And for whom am I creating? I'm creating for Mr. Leo and the public. And I don't even consult them. I mean, but if we do that, it's very simple to do.
Simple as very easy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's time taking, it's hectic, but it's straight.
But it will work.
Yes. It's complex, but it's not complicated.
Yeah. So curriculum redesigning. That is what you're talking
review,
about.
curriculum review.
Yes. Curriculum review. Instead of taking 8 books written by some Western guys who will be explaining economies of the UK, Sweden, Europe, and other places, America, we should get down to the field, find out how Photo Victor succeeded. I don't know whether there is a concept that explains how he succeeded.
He will explain to you.
Yeah,
he explained the concept. He have it. He will tell you this is how I started.
Catch the Photo.
Paul Fokam. Amadou
Babadampulu. Compile all of this, and then this is what we start teaching the children.
Exactly. I mean, we need to contextualize. This is where the professor should come in and say, okay, Mr. X succeeded. I'm professor of business. Let me study him. Let me see
What are the
why did
concepts?
He can be my mentor. He can
yes,
explain to me.
how did he succeed? I talk to him. I do the case studies on him, and then sometimes when you tell a lie many times, it's considered as truth. Like someone wrote that the curriculum always, a theory is always different from practical. No, that's a lie. The theory must not be different from the practical. It must not. If your theory is different from the practical, it's useless theory or it's outdated.
Yes, sir.
Always the practical comes first and the theory follows. I got hurt, I rubbed and I felt better. That was the practical. Then I started analyzing, why did I feel better? And then we work around there. A businessman succeeds or fails, and then people are like, okay, so this is what worked, this is how it worked. So things should be based on the practicals, and theory should be just to explain those things. But it must not be different. If you are doing something in the field that you're not taught in the school, your curriculum is useless, my friend.
Okay. Mr. Liu, I think the general education system in Africa, particularly Cameroon, needs a complete restructuring, starting with career orientation, which I think is the development instruction to guide and prepare students to understand educational and career opportunities and options that will assist them to make meaningful career choices, to face and meet up with the 21st century technology and industrialization. The issue of more theory than practical is the reason why we have civil engineers who cannot construct roads, or they do. The roads are never up to standard. In the Western world, it is not about spending 9 years from secondary to university to acquire knowledge and obtain certificates that matters. Vocational training today gives a better chance for people to excel and develop their countries. Okay, Prince Belair is writing there from Germany. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I like the way the panelists are hitting the analysis, but to be frank with you, to become a successful person in Cameroon, you need to join the CPDM. If not, the system will do just anything to see that you are poor. How can you explain that Medinu, that helped to prove the population provide with seedlings was shut down, and the coffee cooperative that at the time make people rich was also shut down by the government? Can you imagine the condition these people are living now? Most of the rich people in Cameroon are from the ruling party. Dixon is writing from Gabon. Good evening to you. Dixon, good evening, Mr. Liu and crew. I think our educational system is good, just we need to plan it to take us to the next level of our needs and global solutions. We are good in theory and principles are nice resume, but we are inadequate most often in applications of what we have studied. However, what we can encourage is more capacity building in every field of study. This brings us to efficiency and productivity. Good practice begins with quality training and exposure, and quality training needs enabling environment and the right persons. Felix Egbe is writing from the United Arab Emirates. Now, Professor talked about the need for a review of the curriculum, but is there not also a need for those who are supposed to inspire these children through daily lectures?
Like whom, for example?
The teachers. The quality of the teachers. Don't you think something needs to be done also?
Well, as I said earlier, Leo, you cannot give what you don't have. Those teachers, they give us what they have.
Okay.
That's the point. What are they inspire you more than what they have right now? This is what they are giving us. At the end of the day, he said it very clear, we have to make sure that we get the right product. Right product means the people who are professional on this domain, at least to tell us exactly what to do. Not a general knowledge, people who have specialized knowledge. Because the teachers for the last 60 years, that's the only thing they are giving us. Otherwise, they have changed. So when we decide now to change, those teachers have to go back to the successful people to ask them exactly what has he said, what do you need? Who do you want? How do you want me to train those people? Because right now, when you see our education system with the marketplace is totally different. What the demand of the marketplace is not adequate with the education, is not matching. When people are telling you you need to be in the political party, you need to be member of some families to get a job. That is not true, because you don't have a specialized knowledge, you don't have value, you don't know what to offer. If you know how to offer, doesn't matter where you come from, because any valuable person, wherever you come from, if people need your services, they will buy for it. They don't want to know who are you. But at the end of the day, do we have this skill? Leo, why Etofis went to play the biggest league in the world? Huh? Why they did not block him? Because he's an African. But there's some people who live in Spain or whatever, they will tell you white people, they are segregation or whatever. No, if you are very valuable, they cannot get without you. That is the truth of the life. Make yourself valuable, do what you can, and if you have this value, you will succeed in life. But our younger generation is thinking that, imagine how you are going to school, at the end of school, you think that it's not possible to get a job. You're already beaten yourself. You say that, no, because my father is not the member of the ruling party, it's not easy to get a job. You block yourself. Because the paradigm is what you believe in yourself.
Yeah, but is it not also the mentality where we all know that to make it big, you need to work? Is that not where the problem is? Are we taught to know that our success depends on us? Because almost everybody feels that our success depends on
someone else.
A relation, it depends on the school, it depends on the government. It depends
who
on
you know. Mm-hmm. That is the difficulty we're having. You know, this paradigm, we need to change it. We, this generation, we need to teach the next generation that you don't need me to succeed, you need yourself. Because at the end of the day, the first generation who has been taught after the independence, they put them in their mind that their success have to be just working for the government. So this paradigm has been transferred to us. You know, we in Cameroon right now, we can say it's the second generation, because the first one who has worked for the independence, they are going. So this second generation need to clean out that we don't need now to go to school just for work for the government. We can be the partner with this government. We can sit down with the government on the table to bring the solution. But before, it's not there. The government is dictating on what they want. I want people in finance, I want the army, I want this, I want doctors. But now you will tell the government, the market we have right now is not compatible with what we have in the school. We need to change, because you, the government, you cannot employ all of them. We are the people in the marketplace to employ them. So you need to change your system to train them this way, because this is what we want. Now, you see, the world is developing. We have more security than even army in the country, those security guards. So imagine that if you bring the system to train them professionally. If you count right now, the companies who are doing security companies, they are employing a lot of people. Those days we did not have it, Leo. You can say 90s, do we have a security company? Today in Cameroon, you can have more than 1 or 2 million people working. Look at the jobs they have created. Now, if they sit down with the government to tell them, listen, right now, you cannot employ a lot of people in the security, but we, private security, are employing. Is there any way we can come now to professionalize it, to make sure that we have a better school on security? The people who can create cameras, the people who have a system of security, and advanced, not just standing outside the building, advanced security, like developed countries. Those are the things we need to bring on the table. So how to do that? We have to do that with people who own the security company. At least they will tell you the challenge they are going through. They will tell you, no, for now, if I can get this kind of people on my company, I will be happy. We don't need just the mass individual who stand outside. We need intelligent people who can operate cameras, intelligent people who know how to organize, intelligent people who can give even the suggestion of the security system. So those are the things we want to think about it, Leo.
Good evening, Mr. Liu, and all the people on stage. Mr. Liu, the thing is, Cameroonians are mainly concerned with general education. You see, most students complain of science difficult because the teaching makes things difficult for the students, and you now see why the general education is more populated than theory. In the science department in Cameroon, you see teachers which are not even doctors teaching students to become medical doctors. How do you expect them to come out to be effective medical doctors? Terence is writing from Boya. Mr. Liu, one of the way forward in Cameroon is that we should start taking medical doctors to train students who want to become medical doctors. A journalist to train those to become journalists. Even in army, Mr. Liu, I think not normal teachers teach them, but an experienced army. That's how things need to be done. Good evening, my media prime. Many have certificates, but they can't have a job because in many cases, when you apply for a job in a company, they ask you for 5 to 10 years experience. How can that be possible for someone who is just from graduating from school? Mr. Anyambo Clean is writing from Yaoundé. Good topic here, Mr. Liu. Maybe you should bring in many curriculum developers so we hear them brainstorm over this, okay? Please, members of Prime. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Please, all what the talented panelists are saying is true. What we are failing here is that our government, please, the foreign countries will not permit us to have such educational system. Where would they have resources to feed home industry? The colonial masters take care and make sure that Europe should be their dream home. Tafa Simon in Buddha. Brain drain is the order of the day, okay? Good evening, Mr. Leo. The educational system of Cameroon is rich, but the problem is that it's the mentality of learners, which is geared towards employment, and the fact that education is only theoretical. Another issue is the fact that students and teachers believe more in notes than in understanding the concepts. Good evening to all in the studio. I'm Favor from Swa. There are people that are talented, but due to poor nature of their family, they are unable to go forward. A very good example is my son, a very good footballer, but have not gone further. Just expose your son to many persons here. Don't sit and think that your son has no opportunity. Just, I'll plead with you, reach out to as many persons as possible. Just share with them that your son is very talented in football. There must be somebody who is going to take interest and invest in your son, please. Good evening, Mr. Leo. The issue is there. And one way to sell your son is, please, madam, if you're watching, you take your son, play with football, video it and put it on social media. Put your contacts. And one never knows, somebody may contact you. Good evening, Mr. Leo. The issue is there is no bridge between theory and practice. Companies are not willing to give students the opportunity to practice as interns. Imagine my research topic, petroleum production optimization. No company was able to accept me to carry out my research. In this case, Mr. Where will I go to? The government really needs to intervene, as the case in Nigeria, okay? Good greetings to everyone in the studio. The people we call counselors in our schools do not even understand how to orientate students with respect to their various passions. This is due to the fact that the course on personality test either was not taught to them during their training or they do not master it well. And it is this course that will enable them identify the secret gifts or talents embedded in the students. Anne is writing from Bafusam. Good evening to you, Anne. Mr. Liu, I think one other aspect that has failed the certificate of most Cameroon is lack of practicals. If you go to school to be a doctor and you did not have over 3% practicals, what type of doctor will you be? That is why Ghana is advancing, because in the system of studies, 75% is practicals. Okay? Mr. Leo, good evening. During my university education, I proposed to my supervisor the following curricula problems I identified in Cameroon, outdated curriculum used in Cameroon, copy and paste subject matters taught in the university milieu. Based on the problems, I derived a research topic change of Cameroon curricula to satisfy the aspirations of students in relation to needs of the societies. My supervisor told me clean and clear that the topic can cause a lot of problems to the educational stakeholders and government because the curriculum used in Cameroon is a copy and paste from France. This killed my spirit in project writing and thus solving a curricular problem. I am Do Valentine Chawanu, writing from Mbu Bakundu. Now we are where we are, where certificates are not getting food to our tables. Our engineers, our medical doctors, and PhD holders are also not helping the situation. How do we attend the situation? Should we copy the examples of other countries or continents that have done things that are working for them to see how they can also also work for us, because it is true we say we should not copy and paste everything, but there are some people who are implementing certain principles which could be implemented in Cameroon.
Yes, you see, recently China converted almost a few hundreds of its universities into polytechnic institutions.
Okay.
It changed it from the universities to the polytechnic institutions because as a country they believed now they need more of the doers than the thinkers.
Okay.
See, the universities produce people who can think, whereas the polytechnics produce people who can do.
Yeah.
But now we need to have a bridge, the people who can do as well as think. The people who can be a good engineer and also think critically to come up with innovative solutions. So if we move more towards practical teaching and learning, certainly we are going to solve the problem. If we move more towards entrepreneurship related education, we are certainly going to solve a problem. But it's just one part of creating curriculum. Again, back to the basics, who are the one teaching them? So I think as most of the many countries are now doing, they are creating the curriculum which are going to give employment. They are picking the professionals who are going to teach, professor of practice, and this is how they are going to deal with these problems. And of course, the continuous professional development. The technology moves very fast. So what they do as an institution, it's almost impossible for you to keep copying up with this new technology. Yeah. Like in a journalism institution, you buy a camera as an institution, and before you start using it, within 1-2 years, a new camera comes in. Now, as an institution, you're not making enough money from the student fee that you can sell off this camera and buy a new one. So you need to do more of the collaboration with the industries. If we do more collaborations, we'll be able to use your equipment. For example, Mr. Leo, you are looking for, let's say, cameramen and editors who are skilled, right? Imagine if as an institution we are running a course, we design the curriculum after consulting you, then we tell Mr. Leo, we have these 20 students. I would like to send them to your channel so they can learn, and before they graduate, you'll have the first right to employ them. Just come, do the interview, pick the students you want to pick. So you are getting free human resource. You are getting the human resource that's going to be very useful for you. You're going to get a human resource that you'll not have to look for someone who has 5 years experience. You're going to look for the freshers from our institution, because we design curriculum based on your requirement. We sent our students to do the practicals using your equipment. We send our students to your institution to learn the culture of your company and institution. Yeah. Do you think they will lack a job? You'll just employ them, you'll retain them, right? So if we as an academician, we align ourselves properly with the industry, there's no problem of job.
Mm-hmm. Okay, do you think that is what has to happen?
Yeah, exactly as he's saying. If really we align the academician with the market, you see, the marketplace now have a demand. Mm-hmm. Always they are saying there is no job. There is a lot of things to do. Right now, you see in entrepreneurship in Cameroon, is maybe 1% of Cameroonians who are entrepreneurs. Agriculture is completely dead. We are not doing even anything in the agriculture sector. So how do we do now to fill those gaps? If today you say that you want a very good agricultural engineer in Cameroon, the one who can practice, you can't get 1,000 in Cameroon. They can come with the certificate that they are graduating from the school, but they don't know anything. The same thing going to journalism, same thing going to entrepreneurship. If you look, you say that I want a very good entrepreneur who have a very good startup today, I will finance him 10 million CFA. You can't get 100, Leo. There is a program going out here. Sometimes they do, to give entrepreneurs $1 million, but how many of them are able? When they present you a project, you find that it's just a bogus. So at the end of the day, we need to make sure that we go back to the drawing board to make sure that we can retrain this young generation. We need to change this curriculum. It's not working. We have to be honest with ourselves, because when the moment you start agreeing that these are not working, you will find a solution. But if you refuse to agree that always you stand that it's working, there is no solution. Like always you are saying that you are driving your car, you still keep stopping on the road, but you say, no, my car is good. There is something you don't want to agree. Instead of taking it to the mechanic and checking and fix it, you say, no, the car is like this, it can go. For how long are we going? Yeah, Leo?
Okay, very difficult question. Yeah, but almost everybody says, I have a certificate, I cannot work. Do we actually have a work culture in Cameroon? Is that not where the biggest problem is? The jobs may be there, but people who meet the criteria of the institutions, organizations that are existing are also very few to find.
Yeah, indeed. See, the people usually look for easy money. They want to go for a job with a certificate, not with a skill. They go, I have a degree. They're not coming and telling you this is what I can do. They're not coming to you with an innovative idea. Mr. Liu, I have this very nice idea of this new show. You give me the opportunity. Test me.
Yeah,
Do some 2 sample episodes. If it doesn't work, don't give me a job. How many confident people come like that? But that will need a lot of commitment. That will need dedication. People want to do a 9-to-5 job. This is not how the life works. There is no more time for work-life balance. Yes, our old people, they used to have work-life balance. They come to the job 9 o'clock, go back at 5 o'clock. It's a time for work-life integration. How do you integrate the work with your life? How are you flexible enough? I can drop my daughter at the school, come back, or I can come to the office, do my work, go drop my daughter to the school, come back, work. In the afternoon, I can go for a meeting. I mean, it's part of your life. With this technology, with the 4th industrial revolution, even while you're lying down, you got some good ideas and you start exploring. That's already work.
Yeah, that's true.
You are sitting while taking the lunch and you got a query or inquiry from your client. You answer that. You don't say that, oh, it's time, I'm not going to do that. So we need to, as an employee, if we are going to become an employee, we need to put ourselves in the shoes of the employer and then think, will I do the same thing if I was the employer? Will I close my shop so soon if I had my money at stake? If no, then you have no right to do that thing. It means you are disrespectful to your profession and you are not an honest person.
Okay. Mr. Liu, please ask Mr. Gana if I can get his contacts. If yes, then I'm waiting. Thanks. If you want Mr. Gana's number, or you want to get to Professor, just get to me at the end of, indicate to me at the end of the program. I will share their numbers with you to get an opportunity to discuss with them. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Our educational system needs some reformation. How can one go through a course and in the end is unable to meet up with common daily demands? Our curriculum planners should visit the society to clearly understand the societal needs. Ndomi, writing from Douala. But this curriculum we are talking about, this curriculum was for the respective subjects that are treated. They were designed decades ago.
Before the independence.
Yes, and applied today.
Yeah.
Take, for example, the economy of Cameroon 20, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, and what obtains today. Is there not a clear need for something to be done?
Yeah, something have to be done. Why? Because those days, the economic system of early 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, even 2000 is outdated now because now the world is moving to the speed of more than
the digital.
Digital, that at every 2-3 years a new economic system will come out. At the end of the day, why Africa we are paying the price? Now we are complaining about high price or whatever because we did not design the economic system that can sustain it. Last time I was telling you, how many Cameroonians know about inflation? Maybe less than 1%.
You talked about the stock exchange.
Yeah, not even that. We
you
go about inflation.
You talk about stock exchange. That is the need where to raise capital.
To raise capital, to build the companies, you know, to create jobs, to create employment. Now I'm talking about even inflation. Imagine someone tell you, 5 years ago the liter of oil was 1,000. Why is 1,300? How you want to compare your life 5 years ago with now? Because we did not teach these people that there is something they call inflation, that every year your money is losing value of 14%. So mean if you have 1,000 today, next year's 2023, this 1,000 become 900 and something on the value because it's only valuable 900%. When we are going to school, me and you, how much we are paying the school fees on primary school? Maybe 200 CFA or 300. How much you are paying for the kids today? More than 60, 100,000. So look, it's the inflation, nothing else. Imagine our fathers before, what is their salary? They was having salary 34,000. But what is enough? And you give someone 400,000 now is enough. You multiply it 400 times, but it's not enough. So this is, we need also to understand as African that we live in an era that we have to associate with the whole world. We are into marathon. And this marathon, the moment you slow down, you are left behind. And now, Africa, we are behind because we did not think faster, and we are using the outdated system that we are paying the price. It's not about the West. It's about know what we want. Many African countries have done it. When you go to Rwanda today, Kenya, they are doing it. Because they find out that if we do not take our matter in our destiny in our hand, we are not going to move forward. We need to think our economic system. What can we do for the common people? How can we design a system that people are up to date? They mean that they can face the challenges, but we are not ready to face up to now. We are just waiting for the government. Or the price of oil is very expensive. No. We need to create, the more you create jobs, means you are creating money in the system. If you create employment, means you create money. Because what is an economy? Economy is just if human being put his own energy into work. It's simple as ABC. The more you contribute your energy in this world, the more you bring extra money. So if a Cameroonian now, we decide to contribute more energy in our country, means the economy will grow. Why they say Nigeria is a giant? Because they have a lot of people that are ready to contribute the energy. If we are 200 million like Nigeria, we will beat Nigeria. Simple. Mean economy is the number of human beings we have in this world. Now, are they resourceful? If you have 20 children, they are not going to school, they are only consuming food, you know you will go broke. But among these 20 children, if 15 are working, you know your family will be successful. Simple as ABC. Why they are working? Because they are using their energy for the good cause. So we need to educate this generation right now that you have to contribute for the economy of your country. For us, we are waiting, oh, government have to give me job. No. If me today, I decide to create 15 jobs and paying 15 salaries, I've created 15 economy. Doesn't matter where the money coming from, either I bring it from abroad or I generate it here. The moment these people are putting their energy into practice, we are adding in the economy. So we need to teach the young generation now, what can you do for your country? Don't wait till the country do for you. What can you do for your country?
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm following your program and thanks for the topic, but even with the unskilled students produced in school, of course, there are jobs in Cameroon, but my worry is that even when you apply to do even voluntary service to meet the requirements for the jobs, they don't take you. So how do we get these skills to get these jobs? What does the students need to do? Joel from Bomenda. Yeah, that is back to what we are saying. Almost everybody is saying that I want to do internship for a company, I want to do this and that and that. Almost every student is going to school for a job.
At the end of the day.
And not to create wealth.
Not to create a job, but not to create an opportunity, but to do a job. I understand this is also important for you. Before you move towards entrepreneurship, you should also do the job.
That's true.
Because this way you learn the real life things.
The management.
Yes, you learn how to manage people. You'll make mistakes, but you have safety nets through the policies and the structure of the organization that will protect you, that will guide you, that will teach you. But before being, no company is going to allow you to come and consume the time of its staff. No one is going to do that. Almost no one, unless you prove that you will be valuable to the company. If a surgeon is doing surgery and someone comes to do a volunteership only to just keep asking questions, only to disturb,
to clean the floor. We don't need you.
We don't need you. But if you come to the surgeon, tell them how you can really assist the surgeon in the surgery. You have sufficient knowledge and skills. I don't think the person is going to refuse to take it. People mostly, they don't take people on internship because they don't want a chaos in their institution. But if they find someone valuable, I have seen many students, they go and where they do the internship, the same organizations retain them because they don't want to lose them, because this person has come to me, learned the culture of my institution,
there's a guy,
learned the skills.
There's a guy, it's one guy who came in from Kongsamba, for internship here, and I followed his reports. He was on internship, and I asked him to go and write an application.
See?
And he did that. He worked with me here for 1 year. He's gone back to school. He's going to be finishing the months ahead, and we are already discussing that as he's finishing, he's coming back here.
Because it's
Wonderful.
valuable.
Yeah.
And this also the sense of entitlement that since I have a degree, I must have a
Get
job.
That's where
That
you
also
get
need to go away. This sense of entitlement that since I'm studying in the university, I must be accepted for the volunteership. That's a problem.
That's
You
a
are in a
problem.
competitive world. So start proving now. If you can't get a placement for you now, how are you going to get a placement after you finish the school? You're not entitled to have those things. You need to work through.
That's
Good
true.
evening to you. In the studio, it's obvious no government can employ all its population, but we as individuals need to dwell more on our talents, because most of the fields we study in our universities end up not even putting food on our tables. I do finishing of houses, but I left UB in 2015. The truth is what I make in a month surpasses the salary some of my mates earn in some of our private sector pay monthly. The most powerful economists in the world succeed through with human talent. Terence is writing from Mutengene. Good evening to you, Terence. Good evening, Mr. Liu and the analysts. I think it's our educational system that has put us in this mess. Stephen, writing from Yaoundé. Good evening to you, Stephen. This one says, good evening. Oops, very long message. Good evening, Mr. Liu and the panel. If they can bring back our educational system during the West Cameroon period, the problem of employment will be reduced because the system was creative. Richard is writing from Bafusam. Anyway, Mr. Liu, look at the China model. If any foreign company chooses to operate in China, the Chinese government requires that companies share the knowledge of the workings of the project with China. By doing so, the foreign companies are empowering the Chinese with knowledge to do that same job. But in Africa, the foreign companies bring their own workers from outside without empowering the local Africans to do that same work after they are gone. You need government's policies to force these foreign companies coming into Africa to train models. Okay, Mr. Liu, the United States, no one graduates without internship practicum. Okay, I think it's the same in Cameroon. I think it's the same in Cameroon. But I want us to look at the place of apprenticeship. We know that apprenticeship, you go to a workplace,
mechanic, carpentry shops, and
yes, furniture,
shop,
yes.
Yeah, car wash, all those things.
We seemingly are looking down on these places where we get.
This is the situation. This
yes.
is the situation we are having now, especially like you see in Cameroon. Anybody who thinks that he's graduated, he find out those are the low job that he can do. But at the end of the day, when you find out these people, they are doing better than the PhD holders. We need now to encourage the young generation, even to value also those kind of business, those small businesses, because people are thinking that going to work as a mechanic or as a carpenter, because the early those days we are seeing those kind of jobs like a menial job, and they are not bringing any income because we did not professionalize them. You see, you can see a mechanic that is after 20 years is not doing well because he don't have the special orientation training how to go about mechanic. But in developed countries, a mechanician who have a shop is somebody who doing well. Same thing carpenter, same thing car wash or everything. So now it's up to us now to start helping those young generation and to tell them how valuable it is. Tell him that why you cannot be a very good mechanic. You go to Toyota, you learn it, we can send you to Germany, you come back and you open a very professional shop. And if at the end of the day, if you know how to,
there are big garages in Douala that make millions.
Thank you. That's true. So you understand that. But how do we convince those young generation who have master degrees now to go there? You tell him, okay, you have a master, but it's not working for you. There is no job. Why you cannot go and do the training on a garage at least to take over? And there's some people, they are very smart. After 3 years, they can start picking. You can be a assistant, the chief of the garage. At the end of the day, you can
using technology.
Technology, and now with technology, it's very easy to understand all the cars, and it's very easy for someone who has graduated to succeed if really he want to go about it. We need also, you people who have a media, you need also to value those small skill at carpenters. We need to show people, you know, at the end of the day, the media is #1 teacher for our generation, either we like it or not. Our generation learn more from the media than the school or than anything else, because they have a lot of information media. And if we valorize now those small businesses, you will see a lot of young people will go there. We can tell you that, don't think that after graduating from University of Boya, you cannot open a garage for you. You can open a garage and be successful more than anybody else. You can have a carpentry shop. You can open a car wash. You can even have a restaurant. Today, restaurant is one of their biggest. For us in Africa, we think restaurant is this mama put on the road. That is what we have in our mind. That is bad. But restaurant is KFC, is McDonald's. They are making millions of dollars. So why we cannot think to create those kind of avenue that can help our own generation to say, you know what, I want to build a chain of restaurant for myself. Go and study it. Work for those companies. Start building something. That's why always, if someone tell me there is no job, I say no. You are not qualified for a job. That's my answer. Anytime when someone tell me there is no job in the country, I say you are not qualified. That's true. How many Indians will come and work in Kenya? Because in Cameroon, yes, because they are qualified. Yes, Malians, Senegalese. If he come here, he's a director somewhere because he's qualified. If you are qualified, they will take you. You can't say that no, you know, because no. If you are really qualified, they can even take you to Cameroon, send you in Mali, send you in India. How many Africans working in America, in Paris, in India, because they are qualified. That is how it is.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. It's Fabrice from Vomeka. I think our educational system in Cameroon is very poor because vocational training is not being taken into consideration. That is why we, the youths, we lack job opportunities in the country. Thank you very, very much. Leo, greetings. What I have to say is this. Companies, employers should stop asking people for a number of years of job experience. If you don't employ me, for me to have the experience, where else should I get the experience? Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm so impressed about the topic, but my take, African youths, including Cameroonians, have been brainwashed by the diaspora. They don't believe in their own economy, and it's due to external influence. We've been fooled, and except we believe in ourselves, nothing is going to change. She Dinui, writing from Fumban. Good evening to you, She. Glad to read from you. Tiku Felix says, good evening, Mr. Liu. We really need to go back to the base and try to change our mindsets and curriculum, as well as can you imagine that with all the numerous natural resources we have in Cameroon, we were taught nothing about them. We have a very rich forest and very big sea, yet they taught us about fishing in New Zealand and forestry in Sweden. They taught us mining in India. This made us see things mystical. We developed no interest in these domains from the base because we believe they can't be done here. We studied yet grew with a mindset that only jobs from the government are dignified here. We don't believe in what we have because we were not taught anything about them. Besides, politics, especially in Cameroon, plays a major role in killing those daring. People who know nothing, lazy and depend on certificates, occupy positions of authority and decision making. They hide themselves under the banner of a rote, crude and selfish politics and political system. They are afraid their positions will be taken by those who have something to show and contribute, and by this make uncomfortable laws and policies which hinders them, such as very high and constant changing taxes, difficulty in creating even an enterprise, and many others. Their tabled documents and proposals to issues are either rejected or kept under the table because of it intimidates them. Thank you, Tiku Felix, writing there from Boya Southwest Regional Capital. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I love the topic. Greetings to you people. I'm Kanga, writing from Dubai. Good evening to you, Kanga. Good evening, Mr. Liu and the entire panelists of Great Minds with a very interesting topic. Aiden Vioff is watching us live from Halifax in Canada. We have just 5 more minutes to go. Now, certificates, some certificates are not sustainable. That is, you get the certificate and there is very little need for it in our communities. You have a certificate in this, but the demand is not there. With persons with such certificates, is it time for them to have a rethink and say, though I have a certificate in this, it is time for me to go, like Mr. Gana said, learn something else that will readily meet a need in our society?
Why not? Earlier, people used to do the aerial shots sitting in a helicopter and holding a camera. Now they need to do the drone shot because it's not expensive. So certainly, we always need to keep learning. But this is where the problem is, that they did a certificate and they waited all along until they became outdated. Why can't you do continuous professional development? I mean, you need to keep improving yourself constantly. But if you waited until you become outdated, well, that's your fault. But yes, certainly no one should be afraid to do something new. I think things keep moving. A couple of years ago, we were not online. Now we are online. So, yes.
Okay. And we need also to study the market demand. The issue is not even about the certificate now. The timing, the era we are living is the demand. What is the demand we have out there?
People need security.
Yes, not security, the demand, the marketplace. What?
No, for example, our communities need security.
Thank you.
Why not study something relating to?
Relating and to develop the security system to make sure that the system of security is more advanced. And as you said, we need security, especially in Cameroon here. We need more than 2 million today. If there is 2 million people who can bring a new system of security in all the country, they are welcome. They will create the jobs, but are they ready for it? But usually, we are 100% sure that the Cameroon government cannot employ 2 million people now. It's not possible. It's not possible at all, because where is the positions? But we need security in the country. So now the marketplace now asking security. We need more advanced technology in the Cameroon. We need entrepreneurs. We need even the area of agriculture today. We are importing a lot of foods.
We need fish in the country.
We need fish in the country. So look at the demand. How someone tell you there is no jobs? What we call now, it can bring us almost 5 million people out of poverty. So are we ready to go for it?
Even the fields like food processing. You have pineapple. Why can't you make nice juice out of that? You have fish. Why can't you export the fish? I mean, it's all about adding value. If we have something, how do we add value to make it better, process it, and sell it? We have avocados. In India, one avocado, can you imagine how much does it cost? 5,000 francs, one avocado, one. How much do we buy it for here?
Less than 100 saver.
There are some that are over 50 francs.
Thank you.
And it's exotic food. If someone have avocado, means, man, you are rich.
And so why we cannot find the system to collaborate with India to
exactly, or process that so that you can keep it for longer time, longer shelf life, or make a juice or something and export it. We have local herbal medicine. Are we doing researches on that?
No.
Okay. A volunteer can be any person, qualified or unqualified, most often unqualified and no salary required. But someone with capacity building skills is a right person to accept and can be compensated. Watch the language used in applying for a job, okay? Yes, I'm sure it's corroborating what you were saying. Mr. Liu, good evening. The topic today is great and all the panelists are saying is true. I remember after graduation, I realized our academic doesn't match the job market, so I looked for what sells. So I did an online course on project management, which has been putting food on my table as a private project management coordinator. Youth needs to think too. Edwin is writing from Bafusam. Good evening to you. Edwin, thank you for sharing that. Good evening, Mr. Liu. What a great topic, an amazing panel. How I wish our curriculum designers follow up this program. If we talk about development and growth, then professionalizing our educational system will be just the best. Can't we build a curriculum that merges the technical, commercial, and grammar educational system so as to inculcate entrepreneurship in students. We need relevant, adaptive, and dynamic curriculum for a change. Thanks. Gaius is writing from Boya. Greetings, Mr. Liu and the panelists. When dictatorship is the order of the day, the government will do all it can to keep the people ignorant. They could have changed the educational system if they wanted, but the colonial educational system appealed to them, keeping people maintaining it. They still teach about European history, no applicable knowledge in economic. Mr. Liu, the government knows that if you empower the people, you can't control them. Franklin is writing from Thailand. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Thank you for this program. I have been following this program handled by you, and I'm glad because they are changing my mindset. Certificates cannot put food on our table because most of them are academic and not professional. So we should go after professional certificates rather than academic certificates. Emil Wangu, writing from Yaoundé. Good evening to you, Emil. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Special greetings to His Excellency President Paul Biya. It is Tagen Donatien, writing from Yaoundé. Good evening, Mr. Liu. May the good God bless you with this great topic. Your topic is more than a university lesson. Please give a big handshake to Professor and Mr. Gana. Mr. Nji is writing from Douala. Good evening, Mr. Liu and the panelists. I'm an administrator in a college. I spent 10 hours of daylight with my students, and recently I started having a passion in sending official letters to my parents through my students, their children, stating that the talent I have dictated when they are playing in school. Again, during my lesson in marketing, I created 6 companies ranging from hospitality, telecom, car factory, etc., and allocated the students and asked them to act the sales of their products to their customers. Mr. Liu, I was shocked on how skillful my Form 3 students are. Thanks the panelists for the wisdom. Morgan is writing from Bonaberry. Morgan, I would love to have you when next we are discussing on this topic. We have to end here. Professor, thank you for coming in.
Thank you, Mr. Liu. I'm humbled. It was good interacting with the whole team.
Okay, Mr. Gana, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Liu. This was a great topic. Thank you so much.
We want to thank the production team, Desmond, and all of you guys out there. Not forgetting Frank, not forgetting you, Tabit, and Brian, supervising the work we do out here. Thank you so much, all of you who have taken the pains to watch Prime Hour throughout the week. We wish you a great weekend ahead. Also, special thank you to you, Dr. Nick Ngwanya, who is also providing us with moral support from behind the curtains. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.